There I am. Hi, everybody. I just started talking and I wasn't here yet. So, hi. I got my chat. Everything looks good. Okay. I am here to talk about combo spinning today because the last stream I had mentioned that our guild was going to be doing a combo swap, and combo spinning is something any of you can do. You don't need to have a guild nearby. You can do a combo swap or combo spin out of anything you have in your stash, which is the fantastic thing about it. So for us as a guild, the majority of us are working on clearing off our bobbins. As you can see, I was literally just putting bobbins away that I had cleared off so I can get ready for Tour de Fleece, which is coming up on July 5th. So I'm team captain for our guild this year. So I want to make sure that I have all of my stuff ready to go. I'm not going to mess with that right now, but I have all my stuff ready to go. And this is actually the last bit of fiber. I had posted some pictures of it online. It's the ultraviolet fiber that I got from Alexandra in the Art of Yarn. So I'm trying to finish this. Right now I'm doing a chain ply. So I have a single bobbin here on the ground on my Lazy Kate. Single's already spun, and now I'm making a 3-ply out of that single. So I'm working on that. But with that being said, a lot of the folks in our guild are working on doing the combo spin for Tour de Fleece. So if you are interested in doing something for Tour de Fleece and you're not really sure what your goals are going to be, or how you're going to go about setting up and planning for Tour de Fleece, then what I would say is this is a great way to come up with something, especially if you have a lot of single braids, or bumps of fiber or remnants, that you have in your stash. This one I'm spinning for Tour de Fleece, but so if you have something like this and you have multiple colors, that would be a great way to combo spinning would be a great way for you to combine different colors together that maybe you might not normally think of and get a sweater's quantity of yarn out of it. So I've done this in the past. I had shown some fiber last time, or some completed yarn combo spinning. I have this combo spinning sitting here right now. This is what I had spun from last year's combo. So we did a swap at Guild, and usually what we do is we have the draft, we get a number, and when our number's called, we go and pick some fiber, and you're allowed to pick, I think we've done it differently, but this last time we picked up 2 ounces per turn. So if someone like me is going in with 7 ounces, I'm going to get 3 turns, and then the 4th turn, I'm going to only pick up 1 ounce. So what I did was, this is what I had last year with 0 planning. I have done combo spins in the past that had more planning, and that would be the spinning that I had done for my handy dandy squares, which you all have seen in previous posts, which is my, how would I put it, vintage Christmas color with the tomato orange and hot pink and stuff. And then I mixed it with aqua to make it more of a vintage Christmas. Now, this looks really cool. I'm very happy with it, even though it is very, what some people would say, clown barfy. I'm happy with it, and I think that when I do finally decide to knit something or crochet something with this yarn, I'll probably knit something. It would make a great cowl. It's going to have color progressions, much like a Noro yarn. And the reason why I say that, this is not a single, obviously this is plied, and it has 2 colors, on top of one another when I'm plying these together. But it's going to have the long color progressions like a Noro yarn would have. So it'll sort of have that color progress within, like, let's say if I made a cowl out of this. I did not do any pre-planning with this one. I was really scared when I spun it I thought this is really, I mean, I'm not afraid of color, but this might be too much for me. And once I applied it, it felt more cohesive. So with that being said, let me show you something that was not successful for me. So this I would consider successful. The second combo swap I ever did, actually this might have not been have been the second combo swap. This might have been the very first combo swap I had done at Guild, was not successful. And I actually had the rest of this fiber that I just recently gave away at an event that I had done in Altadena. So I donated the fiber because I was so unhappy with it. Was not happy in regards to this yarn about is that here's a color wheel, okay? And when we did these color wheels and spinning, obviously this is not going to be perfect, this color wheel. This was something I had done in a class, and we were doing color blending. So one of the things that I think made this unsuccessful for me personally is that the majority of this yarn here is purple and yellow. Purple and yellow are directly across from each other on the color wheel. So if you're looking to do something that is going to be more successful for you, then what I would suggest is go ahead and work within a segment, a piece of the color wheel, whatever colors that might be, and then maybe put a pop of a contrast color in it, what have you, but maybe don't do a 50-50 split of two colors that are across from each other on the color wheel, because like this, yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but for me personally, this is a fiber, this yarn I would consider a failure for me. Some people might like it, and that's cool. It's all about what you want to do and what you're going to use this for. So, you know, as much as it's great to be able to show people examples of successes that you've had doing a combo spin, I think it's just as important to show you failures, and I would consider this one a failure. So we had the combo swap, and I had put in 7 ounces of fiber. So I got 7 ounces of fiber back. So I want to show you what I got. I did not really, I again, did not plan for what I was doing. So, you know, it's always sort of a crapshoot with me. I do like to go into these things blind sometimes. But with that being said, I thought it might be interesting to do a green and purple, okay? So my number was like 15, and that was a number that was going to get called for me to go up. And let's see what I have here. Like I said, no pre-planning. Just decided to go and pick whatever, pardon me. So this was one of the first ones I picked. This was a fiber that my friend Jen brought, and it is based on the Green Goblin, so it's a Marvel fiber. I want to say it's merino silk blend, which was what the little tag said. So I grabbed this one, and then I was like, okay, well, there's not a whole lot of purple in here, and it's kind of a bluey purple. I really want to do this green and purple thing. This is how my thought process was. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I grabbed this. Okay, pink and green. Pink and green are two of my favorite colors. So I figured this would be good. And the colors might be a little blown out here because of the crazy vampire light I have, but these were the first two I chose. So I was kind of wondering, like, what am I going to do? I'm not 100%, sold on this. And somebody said, oh, you probably should think about what other colors you're going to get. How about you do another purpley color. Okay, so the next time I came up, I chose this purple, which you can see these are all pretty coordinated, you know, yarn. You can sort of get the feeling of what I'm doing here. And then I got this one. And then you're gonna be like, whoa, Stacy made a turn. So at this point, by the second time I went up, more of the colors that I was thinking about grabbing with this, like it's all fine and good for you to do a combo spin and have the same color family, whatever. I decided to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in it. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. So I'm gonna get this weird rainbow stripey one. Doesn't really look like it goes with any of this. That's okay. So I was walking around with these around my neck, and a friend, Michelle, said, hey, you really should grab a neutral, because if there's one thing that I don't have here, it's a neutral color. So for my next round, I grabbed a gray, and I think I grabbed this one next. So somebody brought, this is Moral Fleece Works pin drafted roving in a brown. Okay, so now we have green, pink, purple, some rainbow clown barf, a really soft gray, and a brown. Those are my neutrals. Okay, sure. So this is 6 ounces right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I had one more turn. So I decided to go with this, leaning this way, and grabbed this one. So I think that this, like, I know, just hear me out. It looks a little crazy, and I understand that. So I have 7 ounces here, right? And I'm walking around with these things, and what I did to try to see how I was doing, and this is something you can do even with your own stash. If you pull your fibers apart, like your braids apart, and kind of like do one of these. So here are all my braids. Start twisting them together and see how you feel about these colors now mixed with one another. Okay, maybe I can get a better idea of what is gonna happen here. Obviously I don't have the brown in here, but good enough, right? So I was really happy with my choices, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm not gonna get this sort of situation. Granted, I am now working within, you know, a certain portion of the color wheel. Well, I have green, and I have, where would the pinky go? That would be kind of like maybe in there somewhere, not super directly across from each other, but maybe just kind of off kilter, right? But given the other colors in here and the neutrals that I have, I don't feel like I'm going to have what I'm deeming my failure. Okay, I think I could make this work. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a sweater out of this? Okay, well, I don't really know how much, and this has been a topic of conversation for a lot of people, I think. But honestly, like, how much fiber do you need to make a sweater? It really depends on the pattern. It depends on how thin you spin it. Like, are you going to make a crop top? Are you going to make a oversized sweater? Sometimes you really don't know. Here's the end of one of these too. There's some blue in there. So sometimes you really don't know what's going to happen. So I thought, gosh, 7 ounces doesn't seem like a whole lot. So, because normally what I would do is I would take all of these and I'm going to divide them up between 2 bobbins, and then I'll do a 2-ply yarn from both of those bobbins. So at the end of the day, it's going to be all about separating this sort of in half, and I'm going to show you that in just a moment. But what do you guys think about this? what if I added a neon green and a neon pink to this? I have these in my stash. Whoa, that's really blown out. But I have these in my stash, and I'm like, I have a lot of purple and pink, and I have green in here. I could, in theory, do this, and I think I could make it work. And then I would probably have more than enough for a sweater. So, obviously I have more than an ounce of this really, like, whoa, guys. It's hot pink. That came from a previous stash, giveaway or whatever. And then I have this neon green, which I think I dyed this myself like ages ago. And I used some of it for, no, I didn't dye this one. I take that back. I used some of this for my previous combo spin that I did out of my own stash. So I'm going to add that to it. So I'm thinking that that's going to be the plan. I'm going to spin all of these, but I'm going to supplement it with the 2 neons that I have in my stash because I really love color and I really love neon. So with that being said, I want to show you how I go about dividing up my fiber. So, and I haven't weighed out the hot pink or the green yet, and I'm not going to do any weighing here on this, but I will give you sort of a brief overview of how I handle things when I'm doing a combo spin. So I don't much worry about weighing it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half here, and this is where the midpoint is. I'm going to separate my hands. Here we go. 2. So this one, half of it, I'm going to put aside because I'm going to divvy that up later. That's going to be for one bobbin. This will be for the first bobbin. Okay. I'm going to take this color, fold it in half, rip it in half, throw the other half aside. Well, oh, one of these is already braided, so I'm going to have to try to take that apart. But I really like this pink one. This pink one's fun. Okay. So you're going to keep doing this with all of your colors until you get through your fiber. Like I said, I'm not going to add the pink and the green just yet. I'm gonna be a little bit on the conservative side with this. Sorry, I think I just hit my camera. And just show you how I would go about separating the ones I have. Okay, this is interesting. This one's in a braid. I wonder if I could kind of rip it apart. Oh no, that's not going to happen. So this one in the braid, I am going to have to take apart. And the one thing that I always find interesting is that no 2 people braid these the same way. This is not like a crochet chain, so I can't just pull it apart, maybe? Oh, wait, no, I found it. It was just the end. Oh, shoot. I pulled some off. That's okay. It's totally fine. Just need to be. The interesting thing is, like, I don't know if this is pin drafted or if somebody just like took some of their fiber and ripped it apart to separate the colors or something. Like normally when I separate a braid for a combo spin, I'll like yank it the whole thing in half and you just get like the half, right? This one looks like somebody maybe pulled it in half lengthwise to keep all the colors in it, which is kind of smart. I never really thought to do it that way, but that's what it kind of appears to be because I'm not sure that this is actually pin drafted. So here we go. Now it's like super long. Ooh, okay. So I'm just going to take this. Okay. So I've put this in half. I'm going to break it in half. Throw half of it over here. But Stacy, what about that chunk you ripped off? No worries. Fold that part in half, pull it in half. There you go. Throw the other one over there. Because at the end of the day, the point of the combo spin, and like I said, you can do this out of your own stash too. I've done it where you just go into your stash, you see what colors you have, you say, hey, I really like these 3 or 4 braids together. I'm just going to divvy them up so that the colors are shortened and you can mix them up and match them and stuff like that. So here's the pin drafted alpaca. This one might be a little bit difficult here. So let's try, we'll do this in pieces because we can do that. At the end of the day, this is your fiber. You do what you like. So there's part of it. Here's the other half. And you're going to be breaking this up into pieces anyway. So it's not going to hurt anybody to just go ahead and break it up into smaller pieces now, because we're going to go back through the half and divvy it up into even smaller pieces. And the cool thing about it is you can pull your pieces apart however you want. Let's see here. Like I keep finding little extra bits that I pulled off of some of these. So there we go. There's that one. Here is another piece of fiber that I pulled a chunk off of, and then that's it for the 7 ounces that I put in. Okay, so this in theory is half of what I started with. So then now the point would be to take these pieces and make them into smaller pieces. So here I've got, let's see, 3, 6, let me fold it in half again. There's 12. So here I have 12, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 12 pieces of brown. And I can decide if I want to do 12 pieces of this or, you know, however I want to do it. Because I am kind of breaking up these colors, but that's fine. So there's 4, 8, 12. There you go. So here's another 12 right here. Actually, I'll put these here so you can see. And this is another 2. Doesn't matter. So we'll have 14 there. Oh, how about this one? I'm going to take this one and split it lengthwise. And then I'm going to split it lengthwise again. Those look pretty even. So 3, 6. Sometimes if they get real short, you might want to only do half at a time instead of trying to yank them all apart. So there we've got another 12, and so on and so forth. So basically you want to do this throughout all of the fiber you have. You can make as many strips as you want. You can make them as short or as long as you want. It doesn't really much matter because at the end you're going to be putting them together. So some of these might be a little bit shorter, but there's some of those. And yeah, there we go. And then what will happen is once that you've divvied up all your fiber and you know, oh, hey, this is 1/2 of what I'm spinning. So this, all of this right here is going to go onto one bobbin, and I'm going to keep it separate from the fiber I have over there. And I can choose to split that fiber, the other half, any way I want to. If I want to do it the same way, I can. If I want to do it differently, I can. It's really, really up to you. And the cool thing about doing a combo spin is that even in general, despite the fact that I say I do have a failure in my particular combo spin, the very first combo spin I did, I was not happy with. In general, they mostly turn out really good. Like I said, you can do it with stuff that's in your stash, The previous one I did was all like earthy tones and then I'd pop a neon green, which was this neon green that I have here. And oh, look, I found more. Me just find, oh, I guess I already had that one done, but there you go. And with the color progressions for ones that have a lot of color in them, you can divide them up lengthwise like this, or you can divide them in half, or you can do both. It's your fiber. And the cool thing about this is you're giving yourself permission to take those braids of fiber that you really love, and maybe they've been sitting in your stash for a long time and you just can't bring yourself to touch them. You know, you want to find some way to get more mileage out of them, then this is a great way to do it. So like I said, I'm not going to add the neon pink or the green yet. I'm just going to show you with what I have here. But so here are all my strands. You can't see them all because there's a ton, and you know, they're off camera. But then what I can do is I can start putting together little nests. So I'm going to grab one here and one here of pink. Here's a gray. Here's a, ooh, I don't even know what I'm grabbing here. Purple. Here's the multi-clown colors like this. And then the brown, and then one of these. And there are different ways you can do this, but what I like to do is I'll put little bunches together. I don't necessarily, how do I want to say this? I don't necessarily spin them in the same color order. Like when I'm going into my basket and I pick out a little nest or whatever, and sometimes what I'll do, I only picked one of each, obviously, for this, but I can go back and do, okay, here's, this one right here has a lot of purple in it, so let me get one that's more green. And I'm going to add that one. And then we'll add another pink. There we go. We'll add another gray, another purple, another clown. I don't know why I keep calling that clown. That's really probably not very nice. But, you know, do one of these and make a nest, little baby nest out of it. It also kind of gives you an idea of what some of this stuff might look like after you're done spinning it. So you can kind of see a bunch of colors. I twist it around into these little knots and I'll throw them in a basket. And then I will spin the combo spin per knot. So I might take out a knot, take the colors apart, and go ahead and spin it that way. There is another way you can do this, and that is to take all of your fiber and toss it in a basket and just pick out random bits of fiber and spin them as you pick them. Now, the reason why I've decided to go this route is because I like to make sure that my colors are pretty well spread across the yarn. So I will do this and then I'll spin a nest at a time. And I know, oh, wait a minute, all of the colors that I have here are here. And so I'll make the little nests, I'll shove them all in a basket, and then I will spin one nest at a time, picking out the colors as I go, not in any particular order. And see, now look at this. This looks different than how I just had it balled up. It really depends on how you twist it and how you put it together. And I think it's really gonna make a pretty sweater, and it's gonna look even cooler once it's plied with the other bobbin. So what I'll do is I'll prep this half, and all of this will get spun on one bobbin, and then I will do it very similar. I never do things the exact same, but I'll do the same thing with the other half of the fiber. And then I'll go ahead and put them in 2 separate bags, label them, and then go ahead and start spinning. Please label your fiber if you're going to spin it into 2-ply, and you know, you want to make sure that you've got it pretty even. there have been times where I personally have done this and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I need to count how many nests I have to see if it's the one I spun out of or the one I didn't spin out of. And you want to make sure that in general, you're getting the same amount per bobbin. And like I said, this is not any kind of scientific thing here. I'm not measuring the weight of these. I could, if you want to be technical and you want to weigh your fiber out, most definitely. If you have a scale at home, use a food scale and a bowl, do the little tear thing, and go ahead and weigh your fiber out. That's not my vibe. I'm more of a, I'm just going to go with the flow and see how it turns out sort of person. So this is what I do. And this is how I keep myself on track as somebody who, when I put something down, I'll promptly forget what I was doing. So that's basically it. And you can just make as many nests as you want. Find a system that works for you where you separate all the fiber out, so you know that you're getting the same amount of color throughout the yarn. Like I said, there are people who just shove this all in a basket and pick out a color as they go. But for me personally, I just worry that if I shoved everything here in a basket or a bag, that I would maybe lean more towards one color at the beginning of the yarn, and that's not what I'm personally going for. If that's what you're going for and you want to do okay, I'm going to start with, I guess this would be if you're going to spin a fractal yarn, right? You separate your colors, you spin your colors for the first half, and then you do longer progressions or whatever for the second half. You could do that too. It's all about how you separate it out. And obviously you've seen that I have not done the same amount of pieces in each color because every bit is different depending on the fiber content. So if I have something that has maybe a little bit more nylon in it, it's not going to weigh the same as just 100% wool. These are all things that factor in. So keep an eye on it. Just grab a couple pieces of one thing or another and go to town. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to let you guys go. Also, too, because I don't know whether I'm going to use this whole thing or weigh out in outs. I'm going to play with that and see how I feel about it. But I really do think that adding the neon pink and the neon green might be pretty fun for this. And like I said, I'm looking to have enough yarn to make a sweater. It's what I did with the combo spin I did out of my own stash in greens and brown and teal with the pop of neon. I'm going to do something like that for this as well. So that is my plan. Now, one more thing. I'm not planning on spinning this for Tour de Fleece this year, like many of the folks are that are in the guild. This might be something that I start spinning after Tour de Fleece, in which case I can update everybody how that's going. For Tour de Fleece, like I said, it starts on July 5th. I'm going to be spinning cotton, and for my personal challenge, I'm going to be spinning cotton on my wheel. But I've been practicing on the Tockley and doing spindle spinning of cotton. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So this might not get spun right away, but if I do have time before Tour de Fleece, and I'm sure by then I'll be finished plying this, let's hope, because it's literally spanning across this area here. Then what I'll do is I'll start spinning it and just to try it out to see if my challenge days are really going to be a challenge or not. And then, if I have the time, I might start spinning this prior to Tour de Fleece. But I'm going to see how this goes. And like I said, it'll all depend on how quickly I can get this plied. So hopefully this helps. Sometimes it's just easier to see somebody do it in front of you. Rather than just read a thing that says, okay, separate your fiber. Like I said, this is the way I do it, and I do it this way so I know that I have an equal amount of color throughout the entire yarn. So I don't know, hopefully that helps you, and If you have or are doing any combo spinning, I'd love to hear how you're separating your yarn, or if you have different techniques. It's just really fun to hear about how everybody does things differently. So that's it for now.